You get all your papers in order, approach a bank for a home loan, and boom! Out of the blue, you're told that your bank has found out that you didn't pay your credit card bill 3 years ago. And that's the reason why you won't get a home loan today. Your banker might have easily pinned the blame on someone called Sybil. So if you're wondering who or what Sybil is, I'm going to tell you. While it might seem that Sybil is the boogeyman out to get you, that's not really the truth. Sybil, or the Credit Information Bureau of India, is just a company that has a database and no intention to make your life difficult. That database is called the CIR, or the Credit Information Report, which has details of every loan that you have ever taken and a record of how prompt you are with your payments. So a bank who's considering giving you a loan finds out what your payment habits are, how many loans you have, if you've been shopping, how much you spend, and if you pay your bills on time. So basically information both negative and positive about your credit history. The bank can then decide if it wants to give you a loan. Sounds fairly simple, but is there anything that you can do atone for your payment default that you made 3 years ago? Or will your CIR be written off forever? Stick around to find out.
Now this is where we come in. We are going to help you make sure you have a perfect credit history. Even if you're one of those people who already has a default on your list, we'll tell you exactly how to deal with it. CIBIL, or the Credit Information Bureau of India, has been developing a massive database over the last 5 years. And this is how it works. Banks first share all the information they have on customers who've taken loans, and CIBIL collates that information. Over 180 banks have signed up, which means there is a file under each of our names on that database with details of every loan we have ever taken and every repayment we have ever made. That file is called your Credit Information Report.
Well, a Credit Information Report, as the name suggests, is information about the credit an individual has been given by a credit grantor and what he is seeked. So it's a factual information on his relationship with the credit grantor, where he's gone and put in his application and asked for a loan or something. So the report by itself will give you the credit history.
When the bank receives your application for a loan, it can ask to see your CIR and use it to decide whether or not it wants to give you a loan.
It plays a material part in our decisioning on the customer, but it is not the only factor. There are a range of factors which has our own characteristics based on portfolio performance with us, customers' demographics, customers' life stage. There are very many criteria that comes in, but the bureau input forms a very valuable part.
We get to know who are the good customers to start with. So once we know that a customer has 2-3 loans and over time he has paid all his dues on time, it gives us tremendous confidence to lend more to that customer. And the other thing is that obviously it helps us prevent NPAs with customers who have defaulted recently.
If you have a good track record, your bank will not only be keen to lend you money, it might even offer you a lower rate of interest.
People who have good loans and who are very prompt in repayment, they know it by now, right? And they're also the guys who've been through with this process a few times, so they know they can demand good rates.
But a bad track record would mean you get denied. So as a borrower, how can you make sure this never happens to you? Bad credit history could mean one of two things. Either there's an error on the database about your past payments, or you have in fact defaulted on a loan or a credit card payment. Let's start with scenario 1. If you think there is an error on the database, here's what you can do. Ask for your credit report. You can apply for a copy of your CIR. You have to first visit www.cibil.com and download the online application. Fill it out and email it to myreport@cibil.com. along with your ID proof and a fee. CIBIL will then dispatch a copy of your report to you.
They can write to us and speak to us on the helpline. If they can prove it that it is so, we will take it up with the concerned credit grantor, and if necessary, we will take it up with the regulators.
Once you've received a copy of your file, report the error to the concerned bank. The bank will make the changes within their own records and inform CIBIL.
So if he finds that he has been paying very well on some loan, and it's unfortunately for him not reflecting in a report, all that he has to do is go to that particular bank and raise the point that it's not reflecting, and between CIBIL and RBI there's a very well defined process where within a few days time that bank must report it to CIBIL and CIBIL will confirm back that their records have been updated.
If that doesn't work, you can write to the Banking Ombudsman. The Reserve Bank of India has specified that banks should be prompt in updating CIBIL records with details of repayments or errors that have been corrected. So if it doesn't happen in 15 days, you can file a complaint against the bank with the Banking Ombudsman.
If it comes, first thing is that they must only complain to the bank. And we have already guidelines, banks must have a redressal mechanism. Customer redressal, look into that, and board level committee must monitor that, and there should be outsider also should remain present. If he is not satisfied about the quality of service, standard of service, then he can apply complaint to the Ombudsman. Again, that is created by Reserve Bank of India.
Now on to scenario 2. If you've actually defaulted on a payment and you want to set that right, this is what you should do. Step 1. Reconcile the outstanding amount with the concerned bank.
Either the customer contacts the bank and the bank is obliged to resolve with customer, or the customer can write to the bureau and the bureau would engage with the bank to check if that is appropriate or inappropriate. So the process exists.
Then ensure the bank has updated CIBIL on the payment.
The Credit Information Companies Regulation Act clearly specifies the whole process for this and the number of days for each activity. Within how many days does the bank have to confirm back to the customer? Within how many days does the bank have to report to CIBIL this piece of information that they had failed to report before? It's quite clearly specified, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, depending on the legal activity.
Step 3. Make sure all your current payments are made on time.
The recent repayment, which is good, will overshadow the past, which was not good. All that we are looking at is the recent history, and if he is paying his recent obligations on time, it gives us good confidence that he will pay us back the same way he has been paying other loans.
So that means even if you did have a default in the past, making your payments on time now will improve your rating.
You're becoming financially disciplined, and your score can go higher. And if your score is higher, obviously the credit grantor's decision would be very different than if your score is down or very low. So today you can continue to improve and you are not a permanent defaulter, which was the case earlier.
But remember, prevention is better than cure. So to make sure your credit history stays clean, understand all the charges and payment cycles of your credit cards. Make sure you have a contingency fund if it leads 2 months worth of EMIs in your bank account. And don't use more than 2 credit cards so you can manage your credit better. Alright, so don't forget, make all of those credit card payments on time. It's going to help you when you apply for a loan in the future.